Hello and welcome to InvestorToday.ca. Brought to you on behalf of RBL Communications. I'm your host, Dave Glover. With me is Mickey Fulp. A lot of you may already know who he is. He is the Mercenary Geologist. It's very nice to meet you. This broadcast is coming to you live from the Chicago Resource Expo. It's October 15th, 2011. And we're talking to Mickey, who's been here for quite a few years, I understand.
Yeah, I actually, Rich Redez, the host of this show, gave me my first speaking engagement here, and if memory serves, October of 2007. And that's the event where I actually announced the moniker, which I go under now, the Mercenary Geologist. It was before I launched my website, but this has proven to be a great boom for me as a show and a venue, and I come here every year.
Well, you know, that brings to mind a really great question, which is, what do you think it is that makes the Chicago Resource Expo the show that it is?
Well, what really makes it the show that it is, Dave, is that it is one of the longest-lived shows in the country, along with New Orleans Investment Conference, which, by the way, I will be at in a couple of weeks. These are the two longest-lived shows. If memory serves, this show is something in the order of about its 34th year right now.
I believe you're right, yeah, 34 years.
So it has a history, and being in Chicago, and there are no other investment conferences of this kind in Chicago, it attracts an audience, and you see a lot of the same people here all the time. The thing I notice about this conference is there are a bunch of high net worth investors here, so companies that come here oftentimes pick up investors that count in the market.
Well, that was one of the great things that I noticed, was the fact that it's not so big an event. You know, you don't have 1,000 businesses here, or 1,000 operators, if you will, trying to peddle a project to a handful of people. The real feeling that I get from this is this show is really about individual investors, isn't it?
It really is, and they're all retail investors, and they are people that have savvy in this market. They participate in this market before, and they know how to evaluate companies. So really good companies, it attracts really good companies here because of the interest and the knowledge of the high net worth investors that attend this show.
Well, you know, and that's great for everyone concerned, not just the presenters but the attendees, right? Because you really get the answers to questions that may have been gnawing you at the back of your head. You know, if you're looking at XYZ company and you're thinking, you know, I'd really like to get involved with that play, but I'd like to know a little more. And I think this is a little more of an intimate venue for that, isn't it?
Well, it is, because you can develop one-on-one with CEOs. Lots of CEOs here, and it's a relatively small show, so I would call it a boutique show. So the individual investor is going to get face time with the CEO, the people that count in the business. The other thing that it's unique in is there are two panel discussions, and panel discussions, as you know, are common in this business at these investment conferences, but this one takes only questions from the audience. There's a moderator, and so we are on the panel. There's 6 or 7 or 8 of us on a panel, and the floor is open to individual investors to ask questions about macroeconomics, about geopolitics, about gold as an investment vehicle, about individual companies, and it's all out there in front for the retail investor.
Now you've done 2 of the panel shows already, and I guess what I would like to know is what is the one question that just kept coming up over and over again this year?
Physical bullion, why you should own gold, and I beat that into people's heads pretty good about this. I'm a firm proponent that you need a significant amount of your net assets, minimum of 10%, in physical gold that is in your physical possession.
Right, so you're talking about bullion or gold coins, but it has to actually be physical gold.
Absolutely.
Now, what would be the difference between acquiring that and, say, an ETF or paper gold?
Well, that's paper gold, and for me it defeats the purpose of owning gold, because gold is your safety net, it is your insurance policy against financial calamity. Not only is it your insurance policy or your safe haven, it's if you don't use it in your lifetime, then it will ensure the financial viability of your children and your grandchildren. So it retains its purchasing power. A paper ETF is never redeemable in gold. It's only redeemable in cash. So
money,
to me it defeats the purpose of owning gold. You want that gold in your possession.
Now, gold price obviously at record levels right now. Can a lot of that be attributed to ETFs, though?
I think so, but the ETF has given investors, retail investors, another way to invest in gold, although it's only on paper. They don't physically own the gold, the people. They cannot take possession of physical gold, but it has driven the price because it's given investors another way to play the gold market other than owning physical bullion or a paper certificate in some mining or exploration company that is most likely mining the stock market.
Exactly. And of course that is a concern for individual investors, especially with the market doing what it is. Do you think the market's going to turn around anytime soon, Bill or Mickey?
Well, I think it has turned around. We saw another of these panics, and this one lasted a little longer. We've been saddled with a series of mini panics since the economic crisis of 2008, 2009. In my opinion, the market is fearful of that again. So we see these little perturbations all the time, and they can vary from a 3-day mini panic to something more pronounced, like the Greek crisis in June of 2010. We had a down market for about a month. This down market lasted a little bit more than 2 weeks, and all of a sudden we're rolling again. So I would never discount the banksters' ability to turn the stock market around. So I remain bullish in the long term, especially secular bull on commodities.
So is it time to buy, you think, right now then? If you've got cash, it's time to buy not just gold bullion, hard bullion, but there's a lot of great stock out there that you could probably acquire.
There's a lot of companies that are fundamentally sound. You always must do your own research, due diligence. You want to look at share structure, people, and projects, the real foundation. Find stocks that are undervalued. Buy them on the stink bid concept. And a little promotion right now. I'm doing a clip on BTV this week on how to buy stocks with stink bids, but it's time to buy on weakness. And you put in stink bid if the stock, you've assessed the risk reward profile. So if stock gets that low, you buy it. If it never gets that low, well, it never matched your risk reward profile, so you can't regret not owning that stock. You should be glad you don't own that stock. Right. But there are fundamentally sound stocks that should be bought on weakness at this junction.
Well, and that's great. Well, again, I'm Dave Glover. This is InvestorToday.ca. We're coming to you live from the 2011 Chicago Resource Expo. We've been talking to Mickey Fulp, the Mercenary Geologist. What's that website again, Mickey?
MercenaryGeologist.com. I offer a free subscription service for all to read, and so the price at least is right.
There we go. Well, hopefully this will be the first in a series of interviews we can do with you, where we'll probably see you at PDAC and any of the other shows that we attend. Hopefully we'll run into you there. And thank you for tuning in to InvestorToday.ca. Again, I'm Dave Glover. We'll see you next time.